Good morning, good morning, good morning. Wow. Thank you for joining us. This is Dr. Herbert Harris, and this is Success Mentorship Class number 226. I see people are joining us on Instagram, people are joining us on Facebook, and we have our Success Network team on Zoom. Wow. Today is a great day for living, sharing, and being alive. And our topic for today is, of course, based on our book, The 12 Universal Laws of Success. And I want to welcome each and every one of you today because this topic is a topic that will transform your life. For those of you who are not familiar with some of our works, who want to learn more about some of the projects and things that we do, be sure to go to www.herbertharris.info, www.herbertharris.info. If you don't have a copy of the 12 Universal Laws of Success, you need to get one right away because this is your recipe book for success. Okay, L.A. Neal, thanks for joining us. I see Mr. Intentions. Beautiful. So many of you are joining us this morning. So let us get ready and get ourselves into proper perspective. Let us do our meditation to put ourselves right here and right now for this message. So sit straight up in your seats, close your outer eyes, open your inner eyes. Take a deep breath, hold it, let it out slowly. Take a deep breath, hold it, let it out slowly. And in this state of peace and relaxation, we can affirm together, I am at peace with myself. Let us affirm that together. I am at peace with myself. Once more, I am at peace with myself. Take a deep breath. Let it out slowly. And in this state of peace and relaxation, our minds are open, receptive, and ready to learn. Let us affirm together, my mind is open, receptive, and ready to learn. Once more, my mind is open, receptive, and ready to learn. Take a deep breath. Let it out slowly. All right. This is a topic, folks, that has me excited because creativity is a success key that you can leverage to handle any challenge that comes into your life. You see, creativity is a connection between you and infinite intelligence. There's a great quote that says, creativity involves putting your imagination to work. In a sense, creativity is applied imagination. There's some really beautiful quotes on creativity. There was one, Albert Einstein said something. He said that creativity is intelligence having fun. Let me say that again. Creativity is intelligence having fun. You know, there's nothing that can really resist or overcome your powers of creativity once you learn how to learn, practice, and master them. There's a section of our book I want to read in a moment that really opens the door. If creativity is the use of imagination, then imagination is the foundation for creativity. Creativity really gives us the ability to use our imagination to handle particular circumstances. If we think about it, imagination might be considered like the sun on a sunny day, and creativity can maybe considered the magnifying glass that focuses your imagination on a particular outcome. So if you're facing a challenge in your life right now, especially one where everything around you seems to be out of your control, your creativity can give you a way to handle that and overcome that challenge. In our book, imagination is really under the third law of success, the law of vision. And one of the things it says is this: your imagination is your power to create mental images of something not present to the senses. Your imagination is your power to create mental images of something not present to the senses. So this gives you an alternative. If whatever's going on in your life right now, the challenges that you're experiencing, imagination gives you the capacity to rise above the appearances, to rise above the current challenge and create a solution. Albert Einstein said, imagination is more important than knowledge, for knowledge is limited, whereas imagination embraces the whole world, stimulating progress, giving birth to evolution. Your imagination is the connecting link between your own human consciousness and the universal consciousness. So let me just set this picture. When the universe is created, it was created complete. When we talk about God, the source of all, it was created complete. So everything that is, was, or will be exists concurrently at the same time. And so as we live, it's not that the universe reveals itself to us, it's that we become aware of the universe in our own consciousness. So using this relationship between our conscious mind, our subconscious mind, and our superconscious mind, which is the universal knowledge that we can tap into, imagination is that connecting link. Through your imagination, the formless energy of the universal mind becomes the formed universe in your own mind. Thus, your life experience. Your power of imagination is used to see beyond the appearances of your present situation, to see the possibilities of who you really are and who you can become. So this is powerful now, because I know that many of us right now are going through some stuff. We're going through some things in our lives, and we're seeking solutions. We know that there's got to be something better. There's got to be something more. How do we get to that more? How do we get to that better? So imagination is the foundation for creativity. Where your imagination leads, your life will follow. I'll say that again. Where your imagination leads, your life will follow. And this completely ignores your circumstances, whatever's going on in your life right now. You have the ability to rise above what is, to create what you desire to be. Creativity is the process to get you there. So we have the power of imagination. Creativity is when we apply that power to a particular outcome. So since the universe is always created complete, then our growth is that process of awareness of what is. So the universe exists. God created everything complete. As we live our lives, we talk about the mountain of consciousness. As we live our lives and rise above our circumstances, if you imagine that vision that life is, there's a forest, and in the middle of that forest, there's a mountain. Many people spend their lives in the forest, so they never get to see beyond their circumstances and the situations that they're dealing with right now. And that's why we wanted to do this topic today, because I can tell that so many of us are going through some challenging times. But the mountain of consciousness says that you can rise above the forest of challenge and situations and circumstances and see beyond your circumstances to your potential. And the beautiful thing about this process is the higher you climb the mountain of consciousness, which means the more you see, the more you can be. The more you can be, the more you can do. The more you do, the more you see. You see, the doing involves the vibration. Once you see it, you become it. When you become it, now you act at that level of consciousness. So, there's a scripture that says, when I was a child, I thought as a child and I did things as a child, but now I'm a man and I put away childish things and I think in manly terms, in woman terms. And so as we climb up the mountain of consciousness, we learn and we set aside those things that didn't work before, because now we can see more. Once we can see more, we can be more. And so creativity now is that way to use that imagination to apply it to what's going on right now in your life. So what are the steps? How do we create? How do we build? How do we become more creative? It's a great topic, folks. How do we become more creative? Well, number one, ask the question. We evolve our lives based on the questions we ask. I have the power to create anything I desire. That's an affirmation that sets the stage to use creativity to handle any situation you may be encountering. I have the power to create anything I desire. I recommend that you write that down. I have the power to create anything I desire. So once we put everything in that context, we now say, I have a power to handle anything that comes into my life. So whatever circumstances you're going through right now, whatever situations, whatever relationships, whatever things that are going on in your life right now that you don't like, that are unpleasant, that are painful, you have the power to change it. So what are the steps to be more creative? Number one, be committed to being creative. Commit yourself to creativity. In other words, to always know that you have the creative ability to handle anything that comes your way. When I studied with Tony Robbins years ago, and one of the things, the breakthroughs that he helped me with was to walk on 16 feet of hot coals. And I think the point of his training was that we have so many blocks, so many limited thoughts that lock us in, that if we can break beyond those limiting thoughts, we can do impossible. We can do incredible things that we never thought we could do before. If someone had told me I could walk over 16 feet of hot coals and not get burned, I would have told you, no way. But what we learned was the state of mind. Your mind has the ability to help you handle things that that you don't think you can do, that you have infinite potential. So the first key to being more creative is to accept the fact that you have the creative ability to change anything. The good news about that is that creativity is a learned skill. You're not born with creativity. Creativity is a learned skill. That being the case, then you can now learn, practice, and master the skill of creativity so that you can handle anything that comes into your life. So no matter what the circumstances, no matter what's going on, you have the ability to rise above it, to climb up that mountain of consciousness just a little bit higher so you can see above the trees of opposition, so that you can see above the trees of obstacles, of challenge, of disappointment. So if creativity is applied imagination, then the first steps, the foundation for creativity, is to expand your capacity for imagination. Expand your vision. There's a nice section in the book on page 82 where we talk about expanding your vision, expanding your imagination, how to develop and expand your imagination. Put it quickly. Number one, to read more. You see, when you can read more, you can be more. When you read, you stimulate your mind. So the key to expanding your imagination is to stimulate your mind by reading more. Number two, practice your imagination skills. Since imagination is the foundation for creativity, once you master the skill of imagination, you have automatically mastered the skill of creativity. So when we say practice imagination, you notice we open our classes always with a meditation. And the reason is that we want to close out the noise of the outside world so that we can open the windows to the inside world. And so when I say practice your skill of imagination, there are lots of books, there are YouTube videos on it, but simply is to set yourself up where on a regular schedule, you clear the decks, you sit in quiet solitude, you focus on your breathing, you put yourself in a rested state. You saw when we did the affirmation, the meditation, the breathing. And so when you practice your imagination skills, you begin to visualize familiar things in the beginning. Once you fascinate yourself and say, when you can visualize something like something you really like, maybe your car, maybe a person, maybe a house, but something you really like. Once you see your ability to visualize things in concrete fashion, it fascinates you, and you realize now that you can see more, that you can not only visualize that you know, that you can visualize that you desire. There's a relationship between faith. They say faith is the substance of things hoped for and the evidence of things not seen. Well, imagination is a way to connect you to those things that are not seen, so that you can see them, you know the scripture, and call them as you want them to be. There's a scripture that says he sees those things and he calls those things that are not as though they are. Imagination gives you that capacity. Have clearly defined goals. None of this works if you don't have a goal. If you don't know where you're going, a GPS is worthless. If you don't have goals and a vision of what you want your life to be. Helen Keller said something very, very powerful. She was a lady that was basically blind from a very young age, and she became a student. She became an advocate for people with handicaps. And one of her great quotes, she says, the only thing worse than being blind is having sight, but no vision. I'll say that again. The only thing worse than being blind is having sight, but no vision. Woo! Let me tell you something, folks, that's powerful. And so for you to use your creativity, you must have goals. You must have something you want to be, something you want to do, something you want to have. If you don't have that, then back up. You know, there are times you have to back up to go forth. If you don't have goals and visions and a goal that's smart, that's specific, that's measurable, that's set in advance, that's realistic based on where you are, that covers a certain time period, then you need to stop what you're doing. Because without that, your GPS of life is worthless. Develop your powers of concentration. You see, the same sunlight that is out there in the yard now nurturing the grass, if I took a magnifying glass, that same sun could burn paper, could burn the very grass is warming right now. Concentration is your ability now to focus your energy. It's always about vibration. The law of attraction says whatever vibrations you have inside, you attract on the outside. It's always an inside job. So your powers of concentration means that you must have the self-discipline and the focus to direct your psychic energy to the things that you desire. If you don't have that energy, then your level of desire is so low, it will not manifest. E equals MC squared. Energy, vibration equals manifestation times the speed of light squared. So manifestation, material, whatever you desire is directly related to the vibrations, and the vibrations are expressed through your desire. If you don't have a deep desire to transform your life, to do more, to be more, to have more, whatever it is, if you don't have a deep desire to do it, your success GPS will not work. The third key to really focusing your imagination as a foundation for your creativity is to control your moods and your emotions. Folks, emotions and your moods can completely distract you from your creative ability. I've seen very creative, talented people be completely distracted from their goals by getting angry at someone else. I've seen people who have great potential because they have a negative vibration inside, a negative emotion, insecurity, fear, that they never achieve their true potential. So this is the foundation of managing and using your imagination. Read more, practice the skill, have clearly defined goals, develop your level of concentration, and manage your emotions. So that's number one. Be committed to creativity and the foundation and the perfection of your ability to imagine. Number two, become an expert. I said, Doc, what do you mean become an expert? Anything you focus on grows. So the more you know and understand about a particular area, the more you will be able to develop new ideas and new solutions. Many times, you know, we have people who want to sing. I was a person who for years didn't think I could sing. And one day I decided I could sing. And when I listened to myself, I wondered whether I made a good decision. Okay. But then I got a vocal coach. And what I realized from my vocal coach was that if you don't know the basics of what you want to do, then you're always locked into operating on that level of insecurity and that level of lack of skill, which means you often fall back on what's normal, what's usual, your go-to. You know, like sometimes you have singers, and when they don't know the words, they'll make a noise and they'll scream and they'll holler. So become an expert. Whatever you want to do with your life right now, study and learn everything about it. Because the more that you know about it from a factual level, from an information level, you give your imagination and thus your creativity a stronger platform to operate from. The more you know, the more you can do. The more you know, the more you be. The more you be, the more you can do. Number three, always believe it can be done. Whatever situation you are involved in your life in with your life right now, always believe that there's a solution. Always believe that you can accomplish it. Don't worry about what other people think. If you can conceive it and believe it, you can achieve it. Has nothing to do with your circumstances. It's your mind is the blueprint for your reality. From an energy point of view, whatever you recognize, you energize. Whatever you energize, you realize. And so the moment you believe it can be done, it can be done. Henry Ford said, if you believe you can or you believe you can't, you're right. Whatever your level of belief, that is what takes you to the life that you experience. Number 4, eliminate the word impossible from your vocabulary and from your thinking. Nothing is impossible. So eliminate the word. Always talk of possibilities. Everything is possible. Let that be your mantra. Let that be your affirmation. Everything is possible. So whenever you see a challenge, instead of saying, oh man, that looks impossible, they say everything is possible. One of the power questions that I love is that whenever you're faced with a big challenge, I mean, something that's like trying to tear you down, is to ask yourself, what good can come of this situation? What good can come to me from this situation? And that reframes the whole thing. So eliminate the word impossible from your thinking and from your vocabulary. Number 5, do not fear failure or failure's cousin. Well, who's failure's cousin? Failure's cousin is criticism. Do not fear failure or criticism. Take risk. Now, when I say take risk, don't misinterpret me. Take intelligent risk based on the knowledge that you have. You see, criticism is often a weapon used by people who have no ideas of their own. I'm going to say that again, because I know that many of us are surrounded by critical people. I mean, people who criticize everything you do. The more you try to do, the more they criticize. And sometimes they'll say, I'm criticizing you because I love you and I don't want you to be hurt. Hey, if you don't get hurt, you may not grow. So don't fear failure or criticism. Failure is a dress rehearsal for success. You get better by failing. If you're not failing, you're not doing anything. As you climb that mountain of consciousness, you're going to hit boulders and rocks. Every now and then you slip and slide down a little bit. That's okay, because now you know how to avoid that type of situation. Number 6, be receptive to new ideas. Be open and receptive to new ideas. You see, creativity is like air. It is always there, but we have to be receptive to it. Just like you take a breath from the air that's always there, that breath keeps you alive. Well, creativity, ideas are always there. Just be receptive to new ideas. Sometimes people say, think out of the box. I got a new one. Get out of the box. As long as you're in the box, you're going to be thinking in the box. That's the nature of a box. So don't worry about think outside the box. Get outside the box. Be open and receptive to new ideas and not just listen to them. Don't even worry about who the idea is coming from. You know, our own ego says, well, this person doesn't have as many degrees as I have, so why should I listen to them? Maybe they've been where you have not been. Maybe they walked on a ground that you've not walked on before. You ever see a brain surgeon trying to change a tire? Okay. So be open and receptive to new ideas. Listen, and more importantly, allow them to come into your space. And then finally, number 7, to stimulate and help you become more creative is to challenge yourself. Challenge yourself. Be committed to growing and going. Be committed to going and growing. See, as you climb the mountain of consciousness, you must be committed to always keep climbing. You know, when people climb the mountain, there's certain people, they get to that certain level on that mountain. We call them, they'll set up a base camp. They're like, I'm good. I don't want to go any higher. I don't want to know any more. If you're up this time of morning listening to this program, you are not one of them. You are a climber. You're a striver. You're a person who says there's got to be more. Keep climbing. Never be content. Always know that there's more, that there's better, that there's another level. Always know that the best is yet to come. So let us recap. We've covered a lot today. How do you become more creative? Number one, commit yourself to being creative. To acknowledge that creativity is the solution for all things, gives you the ability to handle anything that comes into your life. Number two, become an expert. Whatever the area of your endeavor, master the information, the skills, the knowledge for that area. Number three, always believe that it can be done. Whatever it is, you can overcome it. Whatever it is, you can do it. Number four, eliminate impossible from your vocabulary and from your thinking. Number five, do not fear failure or criticism. Failure is a dress rehearsal for success, and criticism is a weapon used by people who have no ideas of their own. Number six, be committed to new ideas. Be committed to grow. Be committed to know more. And finally, number seven, to challenge yourself to always be better, to challenge yourself to always strive, to challenge yourself always knowing that you can be what you want to be, that you can do whatever you want to do, and that you can have anything you desire. Always knowing that the best is yet to come. And so it is. Just take a deep breath for a moment. Thank you so much for being with us today. Those of you who used the message, please like it, please share it once it's posted. Make your comments, share ideas of how you have used your creativity to overcome some of the challenges in your life. Whatever you do, get a copy of our book, The 12 Universal Laws of Success. It's on Amazon. You can go to our website, www.herbertharris.info, and you can see all the programs that we're involved in. We'd love to have you on the journey to help you be whatever you want to be, do whatever you want to do, and have whatever you want to have. Always knowing that the best is yet to come. So it is.